Welcome dear children, myself Sir Sunil, your physics teacher. Good morning to one and all. Students, how are you? Fine. I hope you all are eager to wait to open our school. Okay students, really? Okay, anyway we have completed 2 units and third one chapter is going to complete. Last class we have discussed different separation methods. Today we are going to start with a summary of separation methods. All of you please take out your book and ready to watch this video carefully. So students, the summary of the separation methods given in our book in a table. Okay, please go through it. We can discuss it once again, the separation methods. Okay students. So here it is first column given the type of mixtures, okay, the type of mixture and method. Second one, when applicable, then example. Okay, when this method is applicable in the middle column, when this method and in which situation the particular method is applicable. Suppose that first we are going to take sieving. Sieving is applicable when the particle sizes of the elements are different. When the particle sizes of the elements or components are different. So example, separating bran from flour or stone from sand, we can use the method sieving. Second method, that is magnetic separation. Magnetic separation. Magnetic separation is applicable when one of the constituents is magnetic. When one of the constituents is magnetic, then we can use the method magnetic separation. Example, separating iron from sulfur. Third one method, that is sublimation. Sublimation is applicable when one of the components sublimes. When one of the components sublimes and the other does not. When one of the components is sublimate, then we can use the method sublimation. Example, separating ammonium chloride or camphor from salt or chalk. Then fourth one method, that is dissolution and evaporation. This is applicable when one of the constituents is soluble. For separating salt or sugar from sand, we can use this method. Next one, chromatography. When whole mixture is soluble. Whole mixture is soluble, then we can use the chromatography method. Separating pigments of ink or a flower. Pigments of an ink or a flower. We can use chromatography method. Now solid liquid mixture. Separation. This separation method we are using when mixture is heterogeneous. When mixture is heterogeneous, which can see the mixture, the components can be seen separately, the heterogeneous, we know that. So example, to separate sand or chalk from water, we can use this one. Filtration also same way, same situations we can use. Distillation, another method is distillation. When the mixture is homogeneous or heterogeneous, we can use distillation method. Example, separating water from salt, sugar or sand, we can use distillation method. Now liquid mixture we are going to discuss. Using a separating funnel. When liquids are immiscible, we can use separating funnel. Separating oil from water. Next one, fractional distillation. When the miscible liquids differ in boiling point by 20 degrees Celsius or more. In this case, we can use fractional distillation method. Example, separating alcohol from water, benzene from toluene. We can use it. Now we are going to discuss some examples, some separation of mixtures, some examples we are going to discuss here. Through following examples, you will learn how to choose a method for separating the components of a given mixture. First one, a sand-water mixture. Sand can be separated from water by filtration or distillation. Sand can be separated from water by filtration or distillation. In distillation, the water distills out, leaving the sand as residue. Now, in salt solution, many times we have discussed. By distillation, the water can be obtained as the distillate and the salt as the residue. By evaporation to dryness, the salt can be obtained, but the water will be lost. In those cases, we have to use the distillation again. Okay, next one, a salt sand mixture. The salt can be dissolved in water and the sand filtered out, The filtrate on evaporation to dryness yields the salt. Another one, a sugar chalk mixture. Sugar is soluble in water, we know that, but chalk is not. So the sugar can be dissolved out in water, leaving the chalk behind. The mixture or filtration will give the chalk as the residue, and the filtrate on evaporation or crystallization will yield the sugar. Next, an iron filling sawdust mixture. We know that magnetic separation. An iron is magnetic and sawdust is not. So magnetic separation method can be used here. Next one, an iron filings from sulfur mixture. Two methods can be used here. One is magnetic separation, because iron is a magnetic substance. Next one, dissolution of sulfur in carbon disulfide followed by the recovery of the sulfur from the solution by evaporation or crystallization. Okay, students, two methods can be useful in this case. Two methods we can use here in case of this situation. Next one, carbon sulfur mixture. We know that sulfur is soluble in carbon disulfide, but carbon is not. So you can suggest the method. A water oil mixture. Water and oil are immiscible. So we can use which method? By use the separating funnel. We can separate it and can therefore be separated by using a separating funnel. Remember that like oil, chloroform, carbon tetrachloride and ether are also immiscible with water. So the method will be useful for a mixture containing water and any of these liquids. Now next one example, a benzene toluene mixture. Which one method is possible here? Fractional distillation, because benzene toluene both are liquids. As the difference in boiling points of benzene and toluene is more than 20 degrees Celsius, the two miscible liquids can be conveniently separated by fractional distillation. Now an ink mixture can be separated by chromatography. Next one, a salt sand sulfur mixture. Among the three components, only sulfur is soluble in carbon disulfide and only salt in water, but sand in neither of the two solvents. Sand is not soluble in anything. So the sulfur can be dissolved out in carbon disulfide. From the residue containing salt and sand, the salt can be dissolved out in water, leaving the sand behind. The sulfur and salt can be recovered from their solutions by evaporating the solvents. By evaporating solvents, we can separate sulfur and salt. Alternatively, first the salt can be dissolved out and Alternatively, first the salt can be dissolved. Salt can be dissolved out in water and then sulfur in carbon disulfide. Alternatively, first the salt can be dissolved out in water and then sulfur in carbon disulfide. Now 12th example, a carbon sulfur nitride mixture, gunpowder. Gunpowder, we know that is an explosive containing carbon, sulfur and potassium nitrate. Only sulfur is soluble in carbon disulfide and only nitre in water. So, the sulfur and nitre can be dissolved out successively in carbon disulfide and water. And recovered from the solutions by evaporating the solvents or by crystallization. After the final dissolution, carbon will be left as the residue. Alternatively, the nitre can be dissolved out first and then the sulfur. Now we can discuss about difference between a mixture and a compound. Clear? Mixture and a compound we have discussed. We can now conclude that a mixture differs from a compound as shown in figure. Okay, mixture is an impure substance, but compound is a pure substance. The components can be present in any proportion in mixture, but the constituent must be present in a fixed proportion in compound, in a fixed proportion. In mixture there is no proportion and all. Then third one, the components show their individual properties in mixture, but the constituents do not show their individual properties in a compound. The components show their individual properties in a mixture, but in compound the constituents do not show their individual properties. Fourth one, the components can be separated by a physical means. The components can be separated by a physical method in a mixture, but the constituents cannot be separated by a physical method in a compound. These are the important differences between mixture and a compound. You please mark this point and learn it. So now we are going to wind up the class, means this chapter, our third unit. Okay. Now wait for the question answers. I will give you a PDF format. So once again I am telling you, please complete your copy work and safe at home. Goodbye and have a nice day.